Yo, yo, yo.
Focus.
Hey,
Today we're taking a dive into the AFC East Divisional Rankings for fantasy football purposes.
The
diving.
most boring division in football.
Dangerous dive.
Dangerous dive. I'm
Very
more of a
boring dive.
scuba
I
diver.
Very
still
shallow
haven't
dive.
recovered.
I'll dive into every division as we will for the next few months. We're going to be diving into these divisions left and right, weekly, you know what I'm saying? But first,
Division sucks, so let's get it over with.
every episode we got to start off with the question, you know what I'm saying? So,
What's this question?
don't have one. Thought about it for a second. I just don't have it. It's not in my head.
Now, is this on us or on our large fan base?
The
Or
large fan
not?
base did not leave any comments.
They did not come through this time, and I
Yeah.
think we gotta take a stand. Comment. Any questions? Comment it out. No matter
I think
what it is.
We're just going to have to start asking ourselves questions.
I think they're going to miss the most entertaining part of the entire episode now because they didn't leave any comments. So
No,
I put the blame entirely on the fans, and the organization here is still strongly intact. And
we're
we will
strong.
have questions eventually when you guys
About as
drop them.
strong as the
Yeah.
New York Jets.
We just
Let's
can't
do
figure
this.
out questions. We're strong, but weak-minded, I guess.
We're not question people. We're answer people.
About as
We're
strong
giving
as the
facts.
Panthers' offensive line. Let's get into this, shall we?
All right. Well, got to the
All right.
intro.
I said, baby, I am not the one to play with. Ain't the type to give up, I'm driven and motivated. I just want some recognition and some compensation. But this ain't about the money and it ain't about the fame. I got lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out. Lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out.
What's up? We're back.
We're back.
Episode, what is this? 1.05?
5.
All right.
105.
We're diving into quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense.
And kickers.
Fuck those kickers. I'm not touching
Just
those
kidding.
damn kickers. Fuck them kickers. And today, we're going to start with Alex. Explain the quarterback position in the rankings.
You want my rankings or like the position of the quarterback?
Well, let me redo
He's
that
the
real
guy
quick.
let me give you a demonstration.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
That's it. Alex, who do you have for the top quarterback in the
Josh
AFC
Allen.
East? Josh Allen. Explain yourself, please.
Do I really have to explain myself? It's not Sam Darnold and it's not Jared Stidham. And Josh Allen can throw the ball, kind of. He's also a good runner, I guess.
What about Tua? Tagovailoa?
Yeah, I put Tua, and as you'll see there's a little star next to Tua. I
did
don't
see
know if he's
that.
going to play or not. And my attempts to Google this have not really borne any fruit. So beats me. That's why there's a star next to his name.
Now, for Tua, with the star next to his name, does that star
That's it.
mean if Ryan Fitzpatrick plays, he's number 2 in that division?
No. The star means that if Tua plays start to finish, he's number 2. Or like if Tua is starting, I have him at 2. But if it's Fitzpatrick, then I have Fitzpatrick at 3 and Darnold at 2.
Okay.
That's what the star means. And then I've got Jared Stidham, who I had to Google 3 different times to ensure that I had spelled his name correctly, at 4, firmly in the range that I would not draft and I would not sign as an unrestricted free agent. Undrafted free agent. I don't think we have restricted free agents in fantasy.
Yeah, I don't think so as well.
So,
Yes.
Now,
Ooh.
I'm just going to point this out because no one's going to be able to see this. The reason why we're laughing is because Ed just changed his rankings to move Jared Stidham
I don't know
in the
why
last
I had Stidham
place,
at number 3. That was just
pushing Sam Darnold from 4 to 3. So I guess we have avoided. You probably just cut out a lot of content there because we're not going to spend 20 minutes arguing about that.
I had no real reason to have Stidham at 3 either, honestly.
Unknown
besides the fact
potential,
that-
man. I understand that.
Ed, your ranking is pretty much the same as mine, outside the
Yeah.
fact that you believe in Fitzpatrick over Sam Darnold, and that's pretty fair because
Completely.
believing in any member of the Jets is
At
well,
this point, it just causes headaches.
not
honestly.
not smart.
those
Anyway,
guys.
Brandon, tell us why you have Sam Darnold over either Dolphins quarterback.
Why? I have Sam Darnold over because well, it's the Dolphins. They're rebuilding still, and I don't think that they're going to have as much passing plays as what the Jets will.
So
Yeah,
you have Tua underneath of Sam Darnold, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I don't think that's a remarkably unreasonable
It's
take.
not remarkably unreasonable, but in this situation, in these circumstances, that you have these rankings, would you trade me Tua for Sam Darnold?
No, only because me putting Tua at 3 or either of the Dolphins quarterbacks at 3 is because I believe that it's going to start as Fitzpatrick, and midway through the season, I think Tua is going to get the start.
Now,
And that's taking into consideration. That's why they're at 3. Otherwise, if I knew Tua were to play the whole season, I'd have him at 2
all right.
See,
over Sam Darnold.
my reasoning here is I'm not drafting Sam Darnold or Tua to be my starting quarterback in any league. So when I'm ranking them, I'm looking at backups now, and I'm probably going to bet on Tua over Darnold as a backup, especially if I get a high floor starter. Just because, to me, I think Tua's ceiling is undoubtedly higher.
Well, let's get some clarity in this. Are you guys saying these rankings are solely for redraft? That's exactly what you're talking about, just this season?
I would say so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, would it apply to Dynasty?
We
I
would have to
think,
switch it all around, honestly,
Yeah.
thinking about it.
if that
Yeah,
were
this
to be
is-
the case. I still think Josh Allen would be my one, but I think
I would too.
I'd
Yeah.
still, just because, like,
yeah.
Rushing ability.
But I think
that, you
Tua
can't,
would
like,
jump to 2 regardless.
if you're doing dynasty rankings, you can't just completely forget about the next season.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, I'm not paying $20 in a fantasy league just to sit on my ass for 4 seasons.
Hey, Josh Allen might just get replaced by Jake Fromm.
Let's not start any conspiracies here.
Conspiracies. Hey, I dislike Jake Fromm strongly. That was sarcasm, strictly.
I think he'll
Anyway,
make a good NFL backup. He's got, like, the qualities you're looking for in an NFL backup.
I think he will be Matt Barkley 2.0, and at that point, keep me at a very, very far distance from him because I will get mad.
Matt
4th round
Barkley.
pick for Matt Barkley. That wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but the year before, wasn't he supposed to be in the first round, or am I tweaking?
Oh, yeah, he was, but, like, there's
Yeah.
a reason he wasn't. Now, I'm not saying that he probably shouldn't have left early there, but who am I to question that man's decisions?
Understandable. Now we have the running backs. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but let me
Running backs.
vibe out real
Running
quick.
backs.
This division sucks.
Yes, they do.
I
I
don't know
would
about
say
I
I
don't
would
think
say
they suck.
for QB and running back, they would both be late average draft position. Like Josh Allen, I don't know what his ADP is as of right now, but I would think
Not
he's
terribly high.
9th, 10th highest. I would predict. I have no idea.
Probably.
But even with the running backs, I would think all of them, even Le'Veon Bell, is 4th round at
Who
the
do you think?
earliest.
Do you think Bell's ADP will be higher than Singletary's? Or
For damn sure. Yeah, just name value
Yeah.
and guaranteed work. But
Yeah, I'd agree.
I'm not saying I would take him over Singletary, honestly. Don't think I would.
evidently, because all of us ranked Singletary number 1.
Well, yeah, this is in a vacuum though. It's kind of like because with wide receiver, I'm not gonna have Stephon Diggs and Jameson Crowder, and I'm not gonna choose Jameson Crowder over Julian Edelman. Like, say Julian Edelman's going like 8th round or 7th round, something like that. I'm not taking
Oh.
Jameson Crowder at that point
Anyway,
on that.
Brandon, you go first this time. Running backs.
All right, so
Good luck
Devin
explaining number 2 to
Singletary
me.
is my 1. So Sony Michel is my number 2, behind Devin Singletary. This is solely a lot of it is because of my personal opinion. Before this season, I wasn't a huge fan of Michelle, but seeing his workload he got was pretty strong. But the problem with his workload was that, if you noticed, he would have 20 carries a game and only be in the game for 30 snaps. So over 50% of his snaps that were in the game were strictly rushing attempts. So going against defenses will recognize this pattern as every time he was on the field, 58% of the time he would run the ball. So that's over half of his actual snaps. So he was actually only targeted 9 games for a total of 20 targets, and mixing that in to the whole season, this, I think, makes defense aware, well, Sony Michel is just going to run the ball, and they just load the box. I think this year, the Patriots losing Tom Brady, they're going to go to a 22 personnel, which is 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver set, and then also run in some 20 personnels, which is 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers sets. And I personally think it's going to be heavily using a running back package. And by doing so, it's going to get more trick plays between James White and Sony Michel, getting him more involved in the passing game and the running game with Jared Stidham.
Counterpoint, Patriots offense is going to suck, and Sony Michel isn't good. What do you have to say about that?
Their defense is good, and I think they will be in close games no matter who was in at quarterback. And in a close game with a quarterback that most likely isn't their future, I think they're going to try and run the ball. And to do so with Sony Michel, you need to mix in different types of plays instead of running him every time or just having him in there as a decoy.
Not
What
buying
makes you
it.
think that they're gonna use Sony Michel as a receiving back? Like, he's had, what was it, 20 targets you said in the first 2 seasons of his career?
Last year he had 20 targets. I'm not sure what his first season was.
No, he had 19 receptions over the first 2 years. That's the stat I was looking at. I'm
Mhm.
not sure if that's gonna. I don't see him getting more than 10 catches this year. I mean, over-under's probably set at like 15 or something like that, reasonable, but I just don't see him having much receiving upside personally. So I'm not sure if I can actually, like, he had an absurd amount of carries last year, did nothing with it. He finished
Yeah,
running back.
that's going to be even worse now because no one's respecting Jared Stidham.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, not buying it. As you'll see, I'm not buying anyone from this Patriots offense right now. And when they lose 14 games and draft Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence or that kid from North Dakota State, all right, then we'll talk.
Wait, who's the kid from North Dakota State? Trey Lance or something like that?
Dude, look him up. He threw like 28 touchdowns and like no interceptions last year.
Wasn't he a freshman this past year? Or am I
Redshirt freshman.
Oh,
So he's eligible after this season.
yeah.
And apparently he's a very good runner as well. He's
Yeah.
pretty good.
First, like, I flicked on the
I'm
highlights.
excited to not watch
and
any
then
North
to see
Dakota
this.
State games this upcoming season if there is one. Why would I do that?
Fair.
All right, Brandon, you want to go through the rest of your rankings there?
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell is
Chalk after that.
3. I like Bell's guaranteed workload, but at the same time, the Jets had even worse yards per carry or yards per play as the Dolphins did at 4.57 yards a play. So I'm gonna stay away from Bell in most leagues unless it were to be really great value. So 3 is where he lands on my list.
I have a quick question. If he was to land, say, in the 4th round, where you would either be getting an RB3 or an RB2, would you take him in the 4th round? Like, just don't think about all the other possibilities. Just think about him being in the 4th round. would you take him? Like, is that a reasonable place for you to take him?
If I were to be looking at him, it would be because I would go wide receiver, most likely. So in that case, I would be comfortable with him being a chance of him being a wide or running back one.
Running back one?
A shot. I think he's out of most players, he's got the biggest chance. I don't think he will, but he's
Yeah.
done it before,
Understandable.
and he gets the workload.
Guaranteed.
It's
Yeah.
just whether or not he gets 20 touches a game. So if he gets 20 touches, who's to say a few plays don't break out?
Breakout. Yeah. Makes sense.
And then I got Jordan Howard at 4. So the Dolphins had ranked 4th worst in yards per play at 4.87 yards. And they are in the middle of revamping their offense. And with the addition of Howard and Breida, I think it's a pretty undervalued 1-2 punch. And I think Howard will most likely get the biggest beneficiary out of that because I see Howard being probably one of the better red zone threats on that team. I don't know. Besides Devontae Parker, I would trust Howard more than anyone else on that team to take the red zone.
What about Gesicki?
Well, Dolphins don't typically, or they have. Last year they started to after Preston Williams got hurt. There's a trend of Gesicki getting a lot of looks, and I like Gesicki, so I could see it being Howard and Gesicki, but
As far as
them
red zone
two,
carries, you're just talking
yeah,
where Howard's probably going to get the bulk of it. Makes sense.
yeah. And I got Matt Breida at 5. I got James White at 6. Zach Moss at 7. Rex Burkhead at 8, and Gore, because you just have to list Gore. He's always
I just wanted Frank Gore on my list just to point out the fact that why is he still here?
Who else is gonna go up there at 8? It's a 9. It's a very deep division.
Yeah, that's why I put who cares at 10 because I wanted to recognize that there are other running backs, but
I mean, don't the Bills still got Yeldon? Right?
Yeah.
He could
cares?
This could be his breakout season, guys.
But counterpoint again, who cares? Do you care, Ed?
No, not at all.
Ed does not care. Brandon, I'm gonna assume you don't care either. So Ed, why don't you get in your list?
All right. Well, I start my list off the same way as everybody except for Brandon, with Devin Singletary at 1 and Le'Veon Bell at 2. With Devin Singletary, he was probably one of the most efficient running backs in a rookie year since I don't even know who. He ranked 5th in true yards per carry last year, and he also ranked 8th in yards created per touch, which is obviously a testament to his ability. Zach Moss coming in, I don't think it's gonna hurt him as much as people think it's going to. And even then, last year with Frank Gore, when he was getting a lot of carries, he was getting much of the red zone carries. So they don't want to use Devin Singletary in the red zone clearly if they're bringing Zach Moss, and they had Frank Gore last year. I think Frank Gore almost doubled the amount of carries that Singletary had in the red zone last year. So I think Zach Moss is going to soak up those carries, but I'm just going to leave that for when I get to Zach Moss at 5. As far as Le'Veon Bell at 2, Frank Gore signing kind of kills my ranking. I would have him at 1, but Frank Gore coming in takes all those carries away. Sarcasm. Just saying.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling the sarcasm there.
Yeah. But yeah, no sarcasm for this one. Gase is honestly one of the worst offensive coaches for fantasy purposes that I've ever experienced with.
This is true.
The Jets last year finished, I think they were bottom 5 last year in plays ran per game. And as Gase in the past 4 years, their team has not had higher than the 22nd most plays ran. So they've ranked in the bottom 10 in plays ran for the past 4 years between the Dolphins and the Jets, which obviously less plays equals less fantasy output. We all know this: less opportunities, less chances, less points. No matter how efficient you are, you can put Devin Singletary on the Jets. I would put Devin Singletary probably at RB3 in this division. But moving on, we have Jordan Howard at 3, James White at 4, and Brandon touched on Jordan Howard a little bit. I have much of the same points as him, but last episode, which you can look down the description, or we're going to put something up right here, I guess, somewhere up there. We talked about the Chan Gailey offensive coordinator and how he didn't make Chris Ivory go to the Pro Bowl, but Chris Ivory had one of his best years under Chan Gailey, and he's a between the tackles runner, much like Jordan Howard is. So I can see Jordan Howard having a great year this year, not Pro Bowl, but having a good year nonetheless. And I have a note in here. It says that they improved their defense, and Alex doesn't agree with me much on there, but I can just see.
I think they improved their defense. However, like, you can't buy a defense, and that's what they attempted to do.
Yeah.
So, will they be improved? Sure. Will they still suck? Yeah, I think so.
I think with the defense, like the signings that they had, all the additions they had to the defense, and then the Patriots lose Tom Brady, that's 2 more games that their defense can just like take over, not necessarily take over the game, but
let's be
like,
honest, the
keep
Pats
it in
weren't exactly
contention.
knocking down doors on offense last year.
You're not wrong, but it makes it 10 times easier when you go from Brady to who was the guy? Jarrett, how do you spell his name? Nobody knows.
Now, who cares?
Nobody cares. But yeah, so Jordan Howard, I can just see the Dolphins having much more run attempts than last year. Miami last year ranked last in running plays per game. I can obviously see that going up. I mean, you go from Kalen Ballage to Jordan Howard, that's a big difference. Kalen Ballage literally averaged, 1 yard per carry last year, something like that.
Yeah, he might as well just taken the snap and like fallen over each play.
Honestly, I mean, he got paid millions of dollars to do that, which is kind of baffling to me. But hey, he trained years and years for that. But anyway, James White at 4. I say I could see him finishing as a low-end RB2 in half PPR leagues. Obviously, in PPR leagues, is more probably high-end RB2. But besides that, losing Brady, I guess you can say hurts him a little bit. But at the same time, you have Jarrett Stidham. You don't really know what you're getting from him. He could be nervous. He could be throwing a lot of checkdowns. He's not much of a scrambling quarterback, so you can expect James White to get a decent amount of targets again. At 5, I have Zach Moss. I didn't like the man at first, like going into the whole draft process. I was a combine, what was it? I was just like obsessed with the combine at one point where like I seen he ran like a 4.65 or 4.5 something at the 4-yard dash, and I was like, yeah, he's off my radar. And then I just thought about it. I don't know why I had to be so like into the combine. I don't know what that was all about. But Josh Jacobs last year, what did he run? Do you guys know? Probably like a 4.6, something like that, the combine.
Probably not fantastic.
Yeah, it was not fantastic at all. So obviously,
Jerry Rice ran a 4.7 or something like that.
Yeah, he also had Stickum. But with Zach
Keenan
Moss,
Allen ran a 4.7.
He's a slot receiver.
Is he fast?
No. You don't need to be running streaks from the slot in order to be good.
Your running back doesn't need to have Olympic-level speed to run through a hole.
Obviously.
And Zach Moss was an incredibly efficient college runner.
Exactly. I think he had the most yards
after contact or something like that.
Yards after contact, broken tackles, he had the most.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus had a huge hard on for him.
They did. They had him ranked number 1. I'm not gonna come at them, but back when they dropped that, I got super confused. They had Zach Moss ahead of Swift, Jonathan Taylor, even CEH at that point. I didn't like CEH that much, but that's insane. Anyways,
nonsense.
The Buffalo backfield kind of reminds me of the Browns backfield, but just where people are saying Hunt is taking away Chubb's workload. I don't. With Moss and Singletary, I see Moss taking away the red zone touches that Singletary we want the Singletary to get so he can have a lot of touchdowns. But obviously he's not going to get those carries. You've seen that last year with Gore. Zach Moss is going to be taking those red zone carries. So I can just see him having like a 8-9 touchdown season. And obviously that may not be crazy good for fantasy purposes because there's no receiving really. But 8 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns, I'll take that for an RB3 or something like that.
My thing is like Singletary's like 5'7", and probably doesn't weigh that much given that he's 5'7". So this man's never going to get 30 touches a game. He'd be dead. I think Buffalo's always going to have a runner like they did with Gore last year, and I think that's what they're going to do with Moss now, where they're going to give him 12 to 15 carries a game because they just can't do that with Singletary. He won't be alive anymore.
Yeah. And you're going to start seeing, honestly, with almost every backfield just because of the fact that running backs deteriorate really fast, clearly.
If I'm going to spend a second-round pick on the guy, why would I run him into the ground immediately?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you're just going to see a lot of running back by committees often, and literally almost every single team will probably eventually have one, besides teams like, the Jets, who just suck. Good. Moving forward, I have Breda at 6, Michelle at 7, and I just threw Damian Harris in at 8 just because, I didn't want to put Rex Burkhead in here or Brandon Bolden. I didn't want to include those names just because they're ugly to me. But Breda was 6. I have him very far behind Jordan Howard just because Breda's just he's a wild card to me because with Shanahan, it's Shanahan. He made any running back succeed. He had Raheem Mostert, who didn't succeed at all before this. And then he turned into an amazing running back at the end of last year. Undrafted. He's 28 years old. This is Mostert I'm talking about. And then with Breda, he was undrafted as well. He goes into San Francisco. He shows he has the ability to create, but is that just based off the system or is it based off his talent? He's also very injury prone. He gets injured almost every single season. I think he missed the past 2 seasons. He missed combined 8 games or something like that at least. Maybe 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
a lot.
A lot of games. Very
More
injury
than
prone.
ideal.
And even then, I can see Breda starting off the year with say he's averaging 12 carries and 6 targets, something like that. That's cool, but I just don't see that lasting. At that point, I'd rather just take the gamble. Not even really a gamble, but I'll take Jordan Howard over Breda for sure. With Sony Michel, I noted earlier about he had 247 carries last year, which is top 10 in the NFL. Finished RB31. Now that could change, but just the efficiency purposes, he wasn't good last year. He just wasn't good. Sony Michel was just not a good running back. He had no receiving upside. Even though in college he did DC, he had 77th percentile target share in college, which obviously shows that he can catch the ball. But they're not using him as such because they have James White, they have Rex Burkhead, they have Brandon Bolden. So at that point, his receiving upside's capped. The amount of carries he's going to get, I don't think he's going to get top 10 carries for the rest of his career, honestly. At this point, I just don't see him finishing above, say, Jordan Howard, Matt Breda, anybody like that. And then Damian Harris, 8. Here's just a flyer. I just threw him in there. Alex, what are you thinking?
Well, I think we've already discussed why Singletary and Le'Veon are where they are. I pretty much agree with you. Singletary's good. I don't know if I'm going to draft a guy like him because as I've said, his workload is going to be capped, and I don't know if he'll be a real RB1. Get him at a decent price, sure. I don't know. I'm sure I'll touch many people from this division. I don't really care for Bell. I wouldn't take Bell in the 4th round. To me, there's much better receiving options up there. I think Bell's going to get overdrafted. Here's where we start to disagree because I do have Matt Breda at 3. My thing is, I think he's a very talented running back. I think he showed that in San Francisco. First of all, the guy's a home run hitter. So I would draft him, wait for him to perform the first 3 games, and then ship him out because I'm right there with you, Ed, in that he's probably not going to stay healthy until week 9. So I just have him at 3 because he's going to blow up initially, and then I'm going to ship him out for something. Because, I think he is going to start the year with a good workload. And then he's going to get away to the next guy on my list, Jordan Howard, whose upside is capped because he can't really catch the ball, but he's still a good runner. And as we've talked about for way more time than I would like to think about, Gailey and the Dolphins will probably use him a lot to run the ball. I've got Zach Moss at 5 for, as I said earlier, I think he's going to get a solid 12, 10, 15 or so carries a game, at least. He's going to get some touch. They invested a third-round pick on him. It's not like they just kind of picked him up off the scrap heap. I think they plan on involving him in the offense. And while I don't think he can be Saquon, I think he was really good in college, and I think it'll translate to the NFL a little bit. And if he gets goal line touches, I think he's going to put them in the end zone. So I think he'll be a decent option at running back. Not someone who you push all your chips in on, but decent option. James White, I think Ed pretty much covered that. Not stellar, getting older. The Patriots suck. However, he gets a lot of targets, and Stidham will probably throw him the ball a lot. So decent floor, I guess. Ceiling's limited. And the who cares slot at number 10, I can probably just bump up to number 7 and push everyone down because I don't care about the rest of these guys. Don't really care about Frank Gore or Rex Burkhead, obviously, and I think Michelle sucks, and I wouldn't touch him.
I just wanted to go back to when you said Matt Breida. You said you think he could have like a solid 3 games, something like that, right? The schedules did release Thursday last night.
Yeah.
Now they start off the season at the Patriots, and then they go against the Bills. Would you still be willing, like, say it's between him and somebody else? I don't know. Say it's like, where do you guys think Matt Breida is getting drafted right now?
Beats me. I don't know what his ADP is going to be, honestly. I tried to make some of these rankings with like that in mind.
Yeah.
Like thinking like, all right, I like this guy because he's a better value. However, dude, I have no idea.
I could see Breida being like 10th to like 13th round. That's hard because running backs,
I don't know.
there's a huge drop off.
Yeah.
And Breida is on the other side of that drop off. So I'm not sure what round the running backs drop off. I just know there is one. I think it's around like the 6th round.
No idea. Where honestly, I probably wouldn't draft him because I think this like the receiver position is loaded right now. And if I had my choice between Breida or like a guy I like at receiver, I'm probably just going to take a receiver.
Also, with the range of outcomes, I don't want to get into this because like we can make a video about this later, but the range of outcomes with receivers is a lot bigger than running backs, especially in that like.
Well, I think the range of outcomes with Matt Breida is huge. What if he stays healthy and plays 16 games?
He's not being an RB. Maybe a low end RB2. Maybe. I'm not saying he's not.
If he plays all 16 games,
he's not going to be an RB1.
I think he's a high end RB2 at least if he plays all 16 games.
At least.
The guy's talented, man.
Oh my
Injuries have been the one thing holding him back. And you just talked about with Jordan Howard. To me, he's a better rusher than Jordan Howard. So if he played all 16 games and managed like 20 touches a game, the thing is, no, he's probably not going to do that. He's probably going to get hurt. That's why I'm saying the range of outcomes here is incredible. Because he could just get hurt in training camp, miss the whole season. He could stay healthy the whole time.
I have a feeling that the Dolphins, since they invested so much with like Tua, their offensive line, I think they're going to try and get him acclimated to the playbook. And I really think it's more going to be getting a rapport with Preston Williams or Parker or Gesicki between Tua and them. I think Fitzpatrick's going to start the season. So I could see the running backs having a bigger role then because I see these running backs and I could see them being replaced next season.
Oh yeah, I think both these running backs are just bridge running backs.
So I don't see why they would spend time getting them a rapport with Tua.
My opinion differs on that, just because I think they don't want to risk Tua, obviously with the hip injury and whatnot. I don't think they're going to have him toss an ungodly amount of attempts. And I can just see the running backs being more included in the scheme and like in the season when Tua is playing, just because they don't want to risk Tua being hurt. Like they're probably going to give Jordan Howard a decent amount of carries, and I could see Breida obviously being involved too, but I don't see Tua really having a lot of passing attempts.
Wide receivers.
Enough of that. Let's go to receiver.
Who wants to start wide receivers? Let's go with Alex, since
Let's have Ed start this. I
You-
started the first one. You started the last one. Now it's Ed's turn.
that's fair.
Shit. All right. Well, my receivers, here they are. You ready for it? I'm going to
Sure.
go top 5, and then I'll break those down real quick. Okay, so I have Stephon Diggs at 1, Jamison Crowder at 2, which may seem a little bit druggy, but number 3, Julian Edelman, number 4, Devontae Parker, and number 5,
Ooh.
John Brown.
I didn't see Parker at 4 till
Yeah.
now.
Honestly, yeah, Devontae Parker would probably switch with Julian Edelman. Just looking back on it, I did throw these things together, not going to lie. But number 1 was Stephon Diggs. He's going
You
to have a
should
lot.
lie.
What?
I said you should lie.
Yeah, I probably should lie. Stephon Diggs, number 1. He goes from having Kirk Cousins, who was one of the best, most accurate deep ball quarterbacks in the league last year. He was 10th in deep ball completion percentage. And then he goes to Josh Allen, who was 33rd in deep ball completion percentage. And obviously, there's only 32 quarterbacks who start.
Checks out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Makes a
but
lot of sense.
He should be receiving a lot more targets because of the fact that the Vikings were very run heavy last year. The Bills, I think Josh Allen had 15 more deep ball attempts than Kirk Cousins did last year, which obviously it just shows that they're willing to chuck the ball deep. Josh Allen has a big arm. They're not going to be running as much as the Minnesota Vikings did last year, so opportunities should increase for Stephon Diggs. I probably have him as a low-end wide receiver 1, maybe high-end wide receiver 2 this year. Yeah, so moving forward to number 2, we have Jamison Crowder. I feel like people are kind of overlooking the end of the season for him there. He finished from weeks 9 through 17, he was the wide receiver 13, and he had 23% target share, and that was the most on his team easily. And then they bring in Perriman, who I don't think is going to get a ton of targets. Denzel Mims, even, I don't think he's going to get a ton of targets. So there's not really much competition for Jamison Crowder in my eyes. I don't know where he's getting drafted right now, but I could see him getting drafted like 10th round, probably around 10th round in redraft this coming year. And that would be a beautiful slot for me to take him. I would love to take him then. Because last year, like I said, weeks 9 through 17, he ranked as a wide receiver 13. I could see him keeping that pace, maybe not wide receiver 13, but reasonable expectations. I could see him wide receiver 2, like a late wide receiver 2, around 24, 25-ish wide receivers. And then Julian Edelman at 3. Like I said, I could switch him and Parker from 3 and 4. Not much to say really about Edelman. You lose Tom Brady. I don't see the offense being as great as it was last year. It wasn't even that great last year. But his opportunities will probably decrease because he did have the second most targets in his entire career last year. Next, Devontae Parker. I touched on this with Alex at the beginning of the episode. When Preston Williams was healthy from weeks, 1 through 9 or something like that, Parker had less target percentage than Preston Williams did. Now, obviously, Preston Williams is coming off of a torn ACL, so Devontae Parker's he's not gonna come in and just demand crazy amounts of targets. His snap percentage is probably not going to be that high either. But yeah, with Devontae Parker, he could probably switch up to number 3. Then John Brown at 5. Not much to say about that besides Diggs comes in. I think last year John Brown's floor was extremely beautiful. I think his lowest game was like 4 points, but regularly it was about 9 points, 8-9 points as a floor. And then he had a few games where it was like 20 points, and he was a pretty good floor, decently high ceiling as well. But this year, I think his range of outcomes is going to be very, very large. I see him as a boom bust, like Will Fuller type of player this year, obviously without the injuries. 6, I have N'Keal Harry. 7, Mohamed Sanu. 8, Cole Beasley. 9, Preston Williams. And 10, Denzel Mims. Not much to say with most of these players besides N'Keal Harry, who he didn't have a great rookie year after his injury last year. And honestly, this is just a play on potential in my eyes. I don't know if he's going to finish higher than Mohamed Sanu, but I believe in the kid. He was a good prospect coming out. And connecting with Jared Stidham, I watched their preseason games a few times last year, and they got a decent connection.
It's a dangerous game.
And Stidham. What was it?
It's a dangerous game.
What?
I think a Whiteside looked like a beast last preseason.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Washington
Then he
always looks good in the preseason.
he did not look very good.
But you got to
in the
take
season.
the stuff you give. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't have any Harry and Stidham practice film that I can watch. I'm not connected with the Patriots like that. But anyway, Mohamed Sanu at 7, Beasley at 8, 9. Preston Williams, like I said earlier, he's coming off a torn ACL, so I don't see him probably having much of an impact this year, especially as much as he did at the beginning of last year. And then with this whole, COVID-19 stuff, OTAs are seeming more and more unlikely. So Preston Williams is going to have to come into a new system with the new offensive coordinator in Chan Gailey. He has to learn that he has to get more physically ready because of the fact he tore his ACL. And I just don't see him finishing as well this year. But towards the end of the season, he could be a good dynasty buy because people are probably going to be low on him because he's probably not going to perform as much as they expect him to. But the second year after the torn ACL is always the best of like 2 years. The year after and 2 years after. The second year is always going to be the best. With Denzel Mims, I'm not really sure what to say on the dude. He has a great prospect profile. He lands with the Jets, who obviously I said earlier, Adam Gase is just a cancer. And I don't really believe in the Jets all that much, so I'm just going to skip on past Mims. Then I got the Dolphins slot receiver, whoever it's going to be between Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson. Then Rashad Perryman, Jacoby Myers, Marquise Lee, Davis, just a bunch of people that I don't think you should be rostering in redraft leagues. So
No.
yeah, that's all I got to say for wide receivers.
All right, I guess I'll do it the way Ed did it. I got Parker, Diggs, Edelman, Crowder, Brown. I like Parker a lot more than you did. I like Parker a lot, actually. I think what he showed in the second half of last year is translatable, and he showed that he was a bona fide wide receiver number 1 at the end of last season.
Counterpoint.
Here.
Now, what do you say to people that think Devontae Parker is just a end of season wonder, I guess you would say? He didn't do anything his previous, 5 years? The beginning of the season, even, he didn't do anything. What do you got to say about that?
Pretty solid last year. What was his ending season line? He had like 1,200 yards and like 8 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, he wasn't even that bad at the beginning of the season. He had some good games. Like he consistently took off, but
from week 10 on, he finished as a wide receiver too, like in the entire NFL, which is
I mean, honestly, even like the games in the beginning of the season, he had some good games.
Sure.
Like, he came on strong. I think he proved that. He came into his own. Sometimes it takes young guys a few years, and he had all the physical tools, and he still does. So, to me, I just saw a good receiver, and I like consistency with my guys. Like, I like a guy that I know is going to slot in like 15-ish points. So while like Diggs probably has a higher ceiling, like on a game-by-game basis, I think Parker. I like Parker. I'm more confident in him. I don't know what the price would be for those two, but I feel like I could probably get him at a cheaper price than Diggs.
Parker, yeah, for sure.
So I'm going with Parker. Edelman Crowder is just kind of a toss-up to me. I feel like, honestly, I might. The only reason I'm leading towards Edelman at 3 because I think he holds more name value. So if I wanted Crowder, I feel like I could just trade him for Crowder.
Sure.
But I kind of agree with everything you said with Crowder. Like, he's got a nifty little spot there. He's like pretty much the undisputed slot receiver.
Yeah.
And I mean, Darnold loves targeting that man. So, and I think Edelman could develop like the same relationship with Stidham.
You think so? What are your thoughts on, obviously, Jacoby Myers? He was a slot receiver, correct? Like in college and pretty much this past year.
A bunch of slot receivers, but to me, Edelman will probably keep that role. And to me, like if you have a questionable quarterback, the slot receiver is the guy that's like easiest to get open. Yeah, that's why.
Like, tight end and running back, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think like even on teams with bad passing offenses, like the slot receivers should be favored because they're just the nature of the position means they're going to get better looks.
Makes sense.
And then John Brown at 5, I guess, for the same reasons you did. I think his floor is a bit lower than the guys above him, although he's got a great ceiling. I mean, I'd be happy with him. I don't really think them adding Diggs hurts him a ton. I mean, I don't think he's built to be a huge volume target guy anyway. Yeah. I think we all had pretty similar views on him. My next 6, Beasley, Williams, Sanu, Perriman, Harry. I think y'all are sleeping on Cole Beasley a little bit. He had a very solid year last year, and I don't think his role is going to change at all. I think he's a pretty undervalued asset. Honestly, looking at his stats, I was pretty surprised. I didn't realize he did that well. He had a lot of games where he was starting quality receiver.
Yeah.
I take my team. Really, I'll be looking out for him at the end of drafts, especially if I'm playing a redraft league. That's a guy that you can start pretty consistently.
Would you really? I'm not. I guess I don't know. I was gonna say like I differ a little bit there because his upside is really, it's very limited.
It's limited, but I think the floor is pretty high. That's also why I have him at 6 ahead of or behind the other guys.
Yeah, understandable. But I mean, between Cole Beasley and say N'Keal Harry, whose upside do you think is greater?
I don't really know anything about N'Keal Harry. In every Patriots game I watched last year, he sucked. So.
Yeah. All right.
I'll say Beasley with that comparison.
I mean, I guess
upside-wise?
N'Keal Harry's upside is higher just because he's an outside receiver. So, if he came onto the scene and exploded like Dante Parker-esque next year, well, then, yeah, his upside's higher. However, to me, Cole Beasley has a very nice floor.
The thing is with Cole Beasley, with people like Cole Beasley, I'm never going to start them. Unless I have,
I'd agree.
Or something like that. And, I mean, since their ceiling to me, my personal belief is their ceiling is capped so much, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to trade them for a decent value. So at that point, I'd rather just take somebody like N'Keal Harry or a rookie wide receiver like a Michael Pittman, honestly, at that point, or even Denzel Mims. I'd rather take one of those.
Let me just pull up his numbers last year. 10 points, 11, 9, 11, 16, 20, 12, 14. He had a 9 and an 8 in there. That's pretty solid. If you read those numbers without the name, I'm taking that guy. So I'm happy with him. He's probably coming pretty cheap. So.
I think Ed, you convinced me. I would go Harry in a redraft.
No way.
The only reason why
in a redraft, you're taking N'Keal Harry over those numbers I just listed.
Yeah, not in a redraft. Never mind. I meant in a. Well, I don't know.
Taking N'Keal Harry in a redraft.
Even in a redraft. Yeah.
Just because the upside is there. I mean, there's no upside.
I will bet you any amount of money on that.
On what? There's nothing to bet. It's just differing beliefs.
Yeah.
If we're betting on who's going to produce better next season.
No, I'm just saying the range of outcomes for N'Keal Harry is greater, and his upside is a lot.
I just think he's bad. So
Harry has an unknown to him.
He does.
He could blow up or he could bust. And you're drafting both Cole Beasley and Harry at that point in the draft where you're going, oh well, I'm full at wide receiver, I'm full at running back. Do I want a Cole Beasley that's safe, I know what I'm getting, or do I want a blow-up potential type of player and Harry? And I
don't think he has that sort of potential, though. That's where I'm differing from you here.
But you said he did. You said since he's an outside receiver, he has a good amount of potential.
Right. Let me change that. Hypothetically. However, I think the chances of that happening are 0.
Hold on. But let's get into this, okay? Devontae Parker last year, what was his chance of blowing up before the season? Think about that.
I don't know.
Practically 0, right?
Yeah, practically 0.
I'm just telling you right now, I'm not betting on Harry. It doesn't happen to everyone. I think Devontae Parker is an extreme rarity in that sense.
N'Keal Harry can also be that extreme rarity. Unexpected. Okay.
Listen, you go ahead. I wish you luck in that. But
I mean, I'm just saying I'm never going to start Cole Beasley.
Yeah. But those numbers I just named, clearly showed that he's a decent player.
What about Peyton Hillis? I'm sure he went crazy in fantasy the year before he just died.
That was back before my time, so I don't know. What about him?
That's just using recency bias at that point. You can't do that. You're just using this past season. Check out his fantasy output previously. Do that.
What do I care what it is the year? But was he in Buffalo the year before?
Why do you care about the year before this?
Because his role is going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same. They just brought in a wide receiver who's going to get crazy amounts of targets. And they brought in another
You
running
think
back
Diggs
who's
is
also
going to
going to
get
take most
15
carries.
targets a game?
I think it
What?
could be
You think they're
possible.
just going to stop targeting Beasley out of the slot? The team's already said that he's going to be their starting slot receiver.
Yeah.
All right, so then I feel like I can expect a similar. First of all, he has a history of production in Dallas to begin with. It's not like he's a sack of crap. I don't particularly like the guy, but that's just because he's a former Cowboy.
But in Dallas, he was never really startable.
Yeah.
I don't really know what his numbers were in Dallas. I'm just telling you that last year he had plenty of startable games.
I mean, he's 31 years old.
Yeah, too.
And he looks like he's going on.
He looks like he's going on
40.
60, but he's still a dependable
Going
slot
on
receiver,
crap
so that's
at
really
this
all I
point,
care about. All right, now I finally got Beasley's numbers pulled up from the year before, and yeah, they're not as great, but whatever. Josh Allen, improving. Going to rely on him a little more. Taking him over N'Keal Harry. Guess we'll revisit this topic in a year. Anyway, rounding out my next 5, Preston Williams. I'm a little higher on him than you are. This isn't 1975. That torn ACL doesn't just mean his career is over, and I think he can contribute next season. Who the hell else do they have?
Oh my god! I didn't say his career was over.
I know that. That's why I said he can contribute next season.
His
Mohamed
fantasy
Sanu,
career is over or
He's done.
postponed.
Done.
Sanu, I think Sanu is still capable of being a starting receiver in the NFL. Like, he's talented. When he played last year, he played pretty well. I don't know whether he'll be healthy, and frankly, they might just cut his ass. But
I wish they would, because I want to see him on a different team. I don't want to I want to see him in a slot role. I don't want to see him have to split time with Edelman and then say you add in Jacoby Myers, which I don't know if that's going to happen, but still.
Honestly, what they did trade a second-round pick for him, which I don't know about you guys. At the time, I thought was absolute ludicrous.
Yeah.
But my roommate,
weird.
a Patriots fan, was okay with it, so I was like, all right, whatever. It's not my team, but boy, did that blow up in their face.
Yeah, dude.
I think they'd probably just be better off just cutting him, let the young guys get the looks.
Yeah.
I hardly used them.
Shit next year. Well, it
How
helps
much
he
did he
got hurt
didn't he?
immediately.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Oh, did he? Oh,
Yes.
I
So-
didn't even.
I think
I
he's
didn't
still
really
talented.
follow Sanu.
I love the dude in Atlanta. That was one of the past.
I like them with the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think he's talented, and the rest of this list is not very inspiring. I put Perriman at 9 because honestly, I think he probably still sucks, but he showed a little bit in Tampa, so maybe the Jets can squeeze a little bit out of him. N'Keal Harry at 10. Again, I think I've made it pretty clear I'm not a huge N'Keal Harry fan. I think Mims could turn out to be something, but I don't see him doing jack shit next season because he's a rookie wide receiver. Don't know how his game's going to translate, and he's playing on the Jets. That's just not a very good combination. I have Jakeem Grant a spot ahead of Albert Wilson or Allen Hurns because he is faster than those guys. That's essentially it. I don't care about Jacoby Myers. And who is Duke Williams?
Good question.
I didn't even
That's a
look
great
into
question.
that, and I don't know.
Whatever happened to Robert Foster? You guys remember when he was going crazy?
He's still on
Yeah.
the Bills.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still on the Bills,
Pretty sure
unless he was
Duke
a free
Williams
agent.
took his spot as that guy
Yeah.
on the end of Buffalo's bench who makes 2 plays a game. This guy. Anyway, not touching him. Brandon, let's hear yours.
Stephon Diggs, number 1. This was a tough choice. Having Stephon Diggs 1, Devontae Parker 2. That was very close for me. But I like how much the Bills paid for Diggs, and I think he's going to have a bigger role than what he did having with the Vikings. And Parker, I think we really hit on Parker. Julian Edelman at 3. Edelman easily could jump down to 5 for me. I don't have much faith in him, but I don't have much faith on what's to follow either. So I like what is known about Edelman, and that's why he's at 3. Kind of just a respect / petty placement. John Brown. I like what John Brown did with the Bills last season. I like that. I've always liked John Brown. I think even back with the Cardinals, he showed a lot of flashes, and I think being behind Stephon Diggs might even possibly benefit him because he's not a featured guy. He needs help, and I think Diggs is a should be target hog that could help John Brown have that secondary role. Jamison Crowder at 5. And I'm going to jump to 6. I know we've been doing the top 5, but I'm going to jump to 6. And I've got Denzel Mims, which you guys have him at
Gross.
10 and 11. Listen.
He's a rookie receiver on the Jets. Honestly, it'd be better if he was a Wookiee receiver.
A Wookiee?
Huge. They're huge. Catch radius.
So I talked about personnels earlier, and the Jets, along with really all 4 of these teams, played a lot of 11 personnel, which is 1 running back, I believe 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. And the Jets in particularly played 72% of the time with 3 wide receivers. And, well, I can't list off more than 3 wide receivers on the Jets. Quincy Enunwa, but is he even going to play next year? And if he does, he won't be relevant. No, I'm sorry, he just won't. I know you guys had high hopes for Enunwa, but he won't be good.
I sincerely did have high hopes for the dude at one point, I'm not gonna lie.
I did too. Yeah, I think 2 years ago he had a ton of targets. This is strictly because this division isn't particularly strong. So I'm basing it off of, well, who gets the most opportunity? I see Jamison Crowder as being, like Ed and Alex was saying, I think he proved a lot last season. I even kind of liked him when he was a Redskin, and that's saying a lot because I don't like the Redskins. But I think Jamison Crowder is stepping into his into form, and I think Mims will get more looks than Brashad Perriman. And you guys are saying Mims won't get targets, he won't be as involved, and I would have said that, but after looking at their depth chart, who else? I mean, Perriman's
is he going to get open? I don't think he's going to get open. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't see him getting open.
Okay, is Le'Veon Bell going to find running lanes? He's still number 2
but
for you guys.
The thing is, I know that, but like, you're almost trying to say that somebody has to produce on that team, and that's just not the case at all. Like, nobody has to produce as a receiver on this team. Le'Veon Bell is definitely a better running back than Denzel Mims is a receiver right now.
So, I mean, the way I look at it with Denzel Mims, like, okay, let's just look at this as like a base thing. Okay, so running backs, there's always usually either 1 or 2 on the field, or there's 0. Wide receiver, there's either 2, 3, 4, and like there's tight ends on the field, and also running backs who can take targets away from you. So like I was saying earlier with range of outcomes, like wide receivers can either boom or they bust. Like running backs, if they have a guaranteed workload, like you're not going to get 10 carries taken away from you from another receiver or something like that.
Yeah.
If you guarantee me Denzel Mims is getting 25 targets a game,
yeah, exactly.
Well, then sure, I'll bump him up, but I don't see that happening.
Plus the fact, like I said earlier, like the plays, like the number of plays the Jets ran last year ranked bottom 6th in the league. With limited plays equals limited opportunities, which equals limited upside, which equals lower rank. That's my math right there for you.
All right.
Find that with a rookie receiver.
Yeah, that's it.
I get that these draft grades don't always mean anything, but he's a guy that some people considered raw coming out of Baylor, and he's coming to the Jets. It's just
I agree. I don't like the Jets, and I personally wouldn't draft any of the Jets receivers. But I
take Crowder.
I'll take Crowder.
I mean, I guess I would. Okay, yeah, scratch that. I would take Crowder. I wouldn't take Mims or Perriman, but at the same time, forced into a decision I mean, Mims wouldn't be off my mind, personally.
Is there a reason why he's above Preston Williams, though? Like, what's your opinion right there?
I think there's more playmakers with Miami's offense, personally. The Jets wide receiver core is thin. It's thinner than paper. I don't know what's thinner than paper.
Dolphins wide receiving corps is also pretty freaking thin.
I don't know. I think their wide receiving core goes pretty. I mean,
I
not
think
deep,
You
it's
got
but it's deeper
Parker,
than the Jets.
and then you have
Williams, Albert
You
Wilson,
got
Jakeem
some
Grant.
decent
And they're not
playmakers.
bad.
Albert
Alan
Wilson might get
Hearns
cut.
was relevant at one point.
I mean,
Albert
who
Wilson
do you
is
have on the
potential
Jets
cap
besides
casualty.
you have Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, Brashad Perriman,
Nobody.
who
They
was
all
nobody
suck.
until last year, and then you
They
have
all
Lawrence
suck. All the
Taylor.
receivers on both those teams suck. I think
Yeah.
if Mims was actually good this season, then he'd get that opportunity. But so would Preston Williams. I think Preston Williams, that number 2 starting receiver spot is his to lose. And I think that's likely the case with Mims too, in terms of outside receivers. I would imagine it would be him and Perriman.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Crowder in
who
the
would
slot.
you take in that?
Between Williams and Mims, I'm going Williams.
For this coming year,
No, I
I'm
mean-
going Mims.
I mean, Brashad Perriman and Mims.
Who would I take?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would take Perriman,
would-
but I wouldn't take either of them.
Well, besides the point, Preston Williams is at 7.
Why do you have Williams below Mims?
Like I said,
Didn't we just ask that question?
I did
Yeah.
ask that question. Tweak. All right. Then Mekhi Becton, he might get some carries. Big boy.
You know what? That would make Jets games more interesting.
it
So
would.
Would.
Really.
I'm
Goal
all
line
for
carries.
it. I am all for it.
I wonder if he got like a touchdown or two. Like, would they make him eligible to be played as a running back in sleeper? Like, that would be a good question to ask.
I don't know.
Like
Now,
Don
where would
Terry
he
a few years
rank?
back.
Where would he
Becton?
rank in your rankings? If
I
he
would
was-
have him
very high.
The thing is, Gore would probably beat him out. Like through and
Gore.
through. Yeah,
Gore would be the
I could see him actually
guy.
being like Gore. Like he would take carries away from Le'Veon Bell, and honestly,
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell's job might be in danger at that point. But yeah, moving forward.
The real question is, why do you have Cole Beasley behind Denzel Mims and Brashad Perriman?
Cole Beasley. That's the most average wide
all right.
receiver.
Do you think either Preston Williams,
He is not
Denzel
fun.
Mims, do you
I
think
don't draft Cole Beasley, and I'm just mad hype
God,
over
Cole
Cole
do
Beasley.
you think either of those guys have a chance at finishing
Yes.
averaging
Above
double
Beasley?
digits? No. Listen to me. Listen to my question. Do you think either Mims or Williams will finish with averaging double-digit points per game?
No, but I don't think Beasley.
Okay,
will
Cole
either.
Beasley last year in a half PPR league averaged 10.1 points per game. So you guys can ignore the production all you want, but
There's
this is
Stephon
why I won the
Diggs.
league.
The
So who
Jets.
fucking cares?
Stephon
The
Diggs, Zach
Jets
Moss, Dawson
got-
Knox will break out.
The Jets lost
So
Anderson. So Mims, paper thin wide receiving core.
that doesn't mean that he's guaranteed to succeed. He still has to get open.
So Cole
I mean, at
Beasley
this
and the
point-
wide receiver core gained a star wide receiver, and the Jets lost their best receiver, which
Cole
wouldn't
Beasley
have even
will
been
still be
considered
the slot
a star.
receiver. There's more than 12 targets to go around in Buffalo.
What?
You testing that? Are
Yeah,
they
no.
going to throw the ball less than 12 times a game next year?
I see it happening. Yeah. I see.
They're
I
I
don't-
see.
They're
I see
average
12.
64 running plays a game.
I don't like the Jets.
I'm all
I
for it.
don't like the Jets. I don't like fighting for these receivers who I wouldn't really even draft. But it's my opinion on upside. Beasley, Rashad Perriman compared to Preston Williams. Preston Williams has the upside. So I'm going to pick Williams over Perriman, and Beasley, he don't really got much upside. He's just a consistent,
Right for that.
But
just a consistent
Flick in his hands.
flick. Your opponent's
Flick.
gonna feel a little flick in his face.
It's
and
like, oh, Cole
that's cool.
Beasley's in his lineup. Ah,
It's
flick.
just-
all right,
yeah.
all right, hold on.
Oh,
What
Cole
about
Beasley?
Cole Beasley versus Will Fuller?
I would take Will Fuller.
All right, what if I told
I'd
you that
take
Cole
Will
Beasley
Fuller.
averaged more fucking points
What if
per
I
game
told you I
than
don't
Cole
give-
Beasley last
What
year?
if
He
I
also
told you-
averaged more points per game than Adam Thielen, DK Metcalf, Jamison Crowder, your boy Preston Williams, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Williams, Marquise Brown. I get
What
it.
if
It's Cole Beasley. He's a 5'8" slot receiver. The point is, I guarantee you right now he's going to produce more next year than Denzel Mims. Guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. I guarantee you that Mims is going to have a larger percent of his team's production than Cole Beasley will. I can guarantee you that. Because, I mean, it's the Jets and it's the Bills. The Bills' offense will be 10 times better than the Jets. So you kind of have to take context.
I'm just telling you that Beasley will produce more.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're looking.
If they're both healthy, he's going to produce more.
That's like saying Sammy Watkins is going to outproduce Preston Williams. Obviously. I mean, he's
Well,
in a
then
great offense.
why are you not drafting the guy who you admit is going to produce more?
Because, I mean.
I see you looking off into the. I see the mental gymnastics going on here. Anyway, let's just keep going.
I
here.
explained to you, Alex.
Let's just keep.
His
Brandon,
upside
next
is
on-
limited.
next on
I
in the
will never
rankings.
start Cole Beasley. I'm sorry, Cole, but you're not on my
All right,
roster.
there's a reason I won the
Alright.
league last year and you guys didn't.
Did
Anyway,
you win
Was
it
Cole
with
Beasley?
Cole Beasley?
Did you have Cole Beasley?
No, I won it because I take production over anything. I valued Devontae Parker, didn't I?
You won it because you didn't have Cole Beasley tempting you
that's
to
why.
start him.
If I had Cole Beasley, he would have been a solid start towards the end of the year. I don't really know why you guys are knocking 10.1 points per game. I'll take 10 points a game out of my wide receiver 3
Well, at that
or 4.
point, why didn't I start Albert Wilson towards the end of the year? He did good at the end of the year. I
Did
think
he
he averaged probably in like the last 5 weeks, he probably averaged like 10 points. I might be wrong on that. Okay, fact check me, Alex. Go ahead.
The last 6 weeks.
Last 5 weeks, I think.
I think he
last
had
5
an
weeks.
all right
Yeah, the
game
last
or
couple
two
good
because
couple weeks.
I drafted Wilson and Parker, traded Parker like 2 weeks before his breakout.
I'm gonna look it up. I have to. Albert Wilson. Okay, it was
Averaged
it was his
7.2 points over the last 7 games.
That's good.
His last 7 games.
That's startable.
I mean, yeah, that is start. It's a good floor. It's a good
See,
floor.
I'm more excited to play Albert Wilson than Cole Beasley.
I mean, that's fine, but then again, that's
I'm never gonna
why
start
you're
Albert
going to
Wilson
lose.
over DK Metcalf or Jamison Crowder in my life. So
I don't know why you're so high on Crowder and you're treating Beasley like he gets 2 targets a game. They literally play the same position. They're both slot receivers.
I didn't know they played wide receiver. I'm sorry.
Skip. Right
Okay,
down the
let's just go
line
on
to
here.
number
Skip to the
9,
line, dog.
Rashad Perriman.
Aren't you and Harry? Didn't we already discuss this? I'm tired of talking about the fucking Jets. Does anyone give a shit about? Let's get through the rest of these receiver lists. Tired of
New
these
York
receivers.
Jets and
These guys
Rashad
suck.
Perriman.
Rashad Perriman.
Number 9.
Yay! What the fucking do, Rashad Perriman? I'm not drafting him anyway. Are you guys drafting him?
No.
No.
I
No.
All right, Brandon. Number 10, N'Keal Harry. Now, why you have him at 10 when you were all aboard on Ed's explanation? earlier?
N'Keal Harry.
Alex, come on. Man.
So the Patriots, they're changing. They're morphing. Belichick is in his lab playing with chemicals. He's got Stidham and a little egg.
Trying to figure out how we can lose 15 games so we can go get Trevor Lawrence. I don't know why I'm saying we.
So, yeah, you've got Belichick in his lab. He's stewing up Jared Stidham hangover for the 2020 season. You know how you avoid a bad season from Jared Stidham? You change your personnel. Another personnel change. Let's hear it. What personnel? I think the Patriots are going to shift, like I said earlier. They're going to go to a 22 personnel or
Is that going to help him?
a 21 personnel.
Is that going to help him?
And this is why I
The answer is
have.
no.
Wait,
That's
wait.
why I have Harry low in these. That's
That
why
makes
I have
sense.
Harry
Oh my
low in these rankings.
Hold on, did you hear that?
What are you laughing at?
That's why. Oh my god. He said that's why I went Harry.
Okay, yeah, I did do that.
Just kind of ignored it.
Why
Figured we were
is
just
she
trucking
running?
along.
Holy shit. Alright, let's just keep trucking along.
I think that pretty much explains why you have Harry, Sanu,
Yeah.
and Myers where you do.
The Patriots are going to involve more running backs into their game plan.
They already did that anyway. Let's
Nikhil
just put it this
Harry
way. The
is
Patriots
out
offense is going to
out the
suck,
door.
and their receivers suck. So
Yeah.
they're not going to perform very well.
Mohamed Sanu at 11. And I have Harry above Sanu because I appreciate and value his upside.
Also, Harry
Albert
probably
Wilson.
isn't getting cut, whereas Sanu very well might.
And Albert Wilson at number
Trash.
12. Jakeem Grant at
Who?
number 13.
Wait.
Alan Hearns at number 14.
Relevant approximately 7 years ago.
And then I'm not even gonna lie here, which I've told Ed to lie to our viewers, but I'm not, because I'm not that guy.
I would probably switch Cole Beasley.
What are you not lying about, Brandon?
Jacoby Myers at this
Jakeem
point.
Grant, I don't know why I have him 13 because I don't even know where he plays, if I'm being honest.
Have you not used him on Madden, bro? He's a cheat code.
No, he's not.
Maybe
In
that's
Madden, he
why I
is. Throw him on a
lose.
slant, and he just.
But that right
Crack him with
there,
the free safety a few times. You can
That's-
cheat code from the IR list.
I wanted to be transparent in this way because that's showing how little I value Alan Hearns and Jacoby Myers. I
Can we
value
move
them
on to
less
tight ends?
than what I do in a player I don't even know.
I'm so tired of talking about these receivers.
Brandon is just explaining about how we're just average Joes. Like, we're just three dudes that don't know anything about players. But
So let's get into tight ends now, so we can stop talking about these
Tight
fucking
ends. Number 1 across the board. Mike
Gesicki.
Gesicki.
Then I guess I'll go, keeping in order of the times. I don't really care for Dawson Knox that much. I like I feel like he could be decent somewhere if they gave him more targets. I don't know if Buffalo is that place, but like he can really stiff arm some people, so that's neat. I'd love to see him run some more guys over. But other than that, he is a very soft number 2, and the fact that I'm probably not drafting him. I have Chris Herndon over Ryan Griffin, if only because I feel like Chris Herndon could potentially do a little more, but both of them suck, and I'm not touching either of them. Speaking of who I'm not touching, I'm not drafting Patriots tight ends. I'm not even ranking them.
Well, you did. You ranked him.
But I'm not naming them.
Oh, spicy. They do have 4 tight ends, so I understand
Putting
that.
them on blast. Gesicki is the only guy I would care about here from a fantasy perspective.
Same here.
Yeah.
I've got Chris Herndon at 2. I like Dawson Knox a lot because I think he had huge plays for the Bills, but like Alex said, I don't think the Bills are the organization that's going to give him targets. So that's why I moved him down, not because I like Chris Herndon more, only because I don't see the Bills handing out, since they've got the all-star. Since they've got,
Oh, man.
Can't argue with
Since
production,
they
so I
got-
don't really. Fine by me.
Cole Beasley.
The numbers support my argument. That's all.
Please make Cole Beasley the thumbnail, please. Please. And just have a crown on his head and like the angels around him.
So since Cole Beasley,
I didn't say he was a fucking angel. I just said I would take him over Denzel fucking Mims. Good luck counting on that to win you a league. Denzel Mims and Brashad Perriman.
So not
Real-
No, Nikhil
real
Harry. It
intimidated.
was Nikhil Harry, wasn't it?
Well, with you, it was Nikhil Harry. With
Okay.
Brandon, it was the other two. They're all trash cans. Nobody cares about the tight end position.
I do.
I don't. Fuck the. I mean, I do, but not in this division. Fuck this division. It's Mike Gesicki, and then it's just a bunch of street codes.
Dawson Knox is the next Will Beasley.
Yeah, if he played on a team that's going to throw him the ball.
Yeah.
Hey, Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is a trash can. He's getting tossed out for Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox more targets than Cole Beasley stamped.
Wish.
It was sarcasm, Alex. I'm sorry.
I wish.
Sorry.
Dawson Knox would be exciting with all those targets. I want to see him run over some more. Was that the Bengals where he trashed their entire defense?
Yeah, Dawson Knox is more exciting to watch than
I'm not arguing that.
I can't
Cole
even
Beasley's
say
the least
Cole
exciting
Beasley.
player to watch in the entire NFL. He just runs a 3-yard out, catches it, runs another 8 yards, and then just gets pushed out of bounds every fucking play. I'm not saying it's exciting.
He's like a little weasel. Like Cole
It's not
Beasley.
exciting to
Cole
paint your
Beasley.
house. However,
Not
it improves.
Cole Beasley.
Ron Weasley.
Ed, tell me
Okay.
about why you have Patriots tight ends listed over the Jets tight ends. Just kidding. I don't care.
Ah, fuck you. Anyway,
Nobody cares.
I care about my words. So I have Gesicki number 1, and I have Dawson Knox number 2. Okay, I'm just not going to dive in my rankings. I'm going to ask Brandon why the hell Chris Herndon's number 2.
Yeah,
Chris,
is he even going to play? Is he just going to get suspended again?
I think he's a fake
Herndon.
person, honestly. I think
Chris
he's a made-up
Herndon?
player.
there's no
I believe it.
actual rhyme or reason he's at number 2. It's strictly because I like his upside and the other options I don't. Ryan Griffin is
He had a
Dawson
funny
Knox.
touchdown celebration once.
Who? Griffin?
Griffin.
Oh, the
I
little
like the one
spike
where he
and
pretended.
kicked it off. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, that was funny. And then he immediately got injured.
Yeah, deserved. Not really.
I do. I don't mind the Patriots tight ends. I just don't know much about either one. I know Asiasi. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I see.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. I think they'll somewhat be involved. I don't think it's gonna come out to being fantasy relevant because the Patriots, they don't normally like play their rookies that much, and I don't see them being relevant, at least year 1, maybe dynasty wise.
So,
All right.
are we done on tight ends?
I'll just jump
we're
into my
done with
tight
tight
ends.
ends.
I'll jump into my tight ends. Let me
Jump
explain.
right into your tight end.
Haven't we already
Don't get
talked
hurt.
about this enough?
No, Gesicki is number 1 across the board because why the hell not? He's great. Dawson Knox, not much to say about the dude. I'm not drafting anybody besides Gesicki in redraft, and obviously the Patriots tight ends, rookie tight ends don't really produce like that, so they're not going to do crazy in redraft. That's why I said I'm not drafting anybody from 2 on down. But yeah, Ryan Griffin is basically Peter Griffin's cousin, and Chris Herndon is just the fake person. So let's go into defenses.
Defense.
Defense, Brandon.
Eddie.
What? Okay, Brandon, you go first.
Well, we can speak for each other because Ed and I have the same exact rankings. Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets.
Ooh.
Alex.
Ooh.
Alex, you go in. Tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could easily see the Bills being better than Patriots because the Patriots offense just sucks ass and turns the ball over every single play at the 50. Then that's going to be kind of annoying for their defense to try to contend with. However, they got some really good defensive backs. So I'm just banking on them scoring a bunch more points for some reason. However, I don't really care. I don't think the Dolphins defense is going to be good. You can't buy a defense. I've already talked about this. And like we discussed earlier, their additions don't exactly seem fantasy point relevant to me. Like Byron Jones isn't exactly the guy you think of when you think of interceptions. And if you think Kyle Van Noy is going to catapult them from worst fantasy defense in the league to middle of the pack fantasy defense, which is where the Jets were, then more power to you.
Well, I have Bills primarily at 1 because their time of possession is going to be through the
Cole Beasley.
You gonna get that
Cole
sentence out, Brandon, or you just gonna keep fucking choking on it over there like a small child?
The Bill.
The Bills.
The Bills, the time of possession is going to be crazy because they got Cole Beasley and they will have so many targets and receptions. No, I really legitimately like the Bills defense. I've liked them since last year.
Yeah.
The Patriots, I just think last season they played horrible teams. I still think they were good, but they played horrible teams. They had Tom Brady. So the clock management, the time of possession, I don't know the specific stat, but I'm assuming it's going to be better than what Jared Stidham has to offer.
Noted excellent linebacker play last year from Brady. Really helped the Patriots establish that defense. You got to wonder if they're going to miss that moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking done with this division.
Yeah, I'm glad we had a chance to highlight Cole Beasley.
Just way too much time
today.
to talk about the AFC East.
Now, do we want to do a dive deep on kickers? I have average kicks made a game, average field goals per quarter.
Shut up, Brandon. Just stop.
What?
Average field goals made per quarter. I swear to, if you talk about that, I'm done. I'm just done with all of this.
And that's all we got for you today. The AFC East positional player rankings for fantasy football redraft in 2020. Next week we're going to dive into the AFC North teams, and we're going to break down those players. Kickers are excluded because fuck them kickers, bro.
Suck.
Let's just kick them kickers to the curb. And then that's all I got for you today. Brian, you got to say anything?
Well, I've got two questions. One, in a nutshell, viewers, have you subscribed, liked, commented?
That's not a
I
real
don't
question.
think so. My last question that'll leave you here wondering, and this is important. If your shirt isn't tucked into your pants,
the answer is no.
Then is your pants tucked into your shirt?
The answer is no. I've already explained this.
Yeah,
you tuck your shirt in your pants. Your pants are holding your shirt in there. Like
the real
answer. That's why it's said tucked in. Your fucking pants aren't tucked in your shirt. If I take my shirt off, my pants don't just fly off my body.
You're very passionate about these questions, Alex.
The real answer.
We already had to talk about this question. I'm really fucking tired of it.
Cole Beasley.